you look at, there's gangsters and there's racketeers, right? Where Sammy was a gangster, I don't think anybody debates that. But you
Absolutely.
could argue as a decent racketeer, he was worth like $20 million before he went away. He had multiple businesses. I think he was doing like $5 million a year on the books, something like that, right? But then he rolled. I think he was able to keep his money, but then he went into the drug business, whether he financed it or whatever, but he took a pinch for that. And as I understand, a lot of his wealth diminished, whether it be 20 years of lawyers or maybe didn't have as much or whatever. So Gianni's comment is government let him keep millions. He sells drugs, loses it. Sammy's got a poor business strategy. So you and I talk about this at nauseum. When you have a business plan and you have any business, not that you think first about exit strategy, but you first have to think, am I selling out later? Am I looking to build this up and give it to my kids? Like, what's my exit strategy at some point? Sometimes, again, you almost lead with it. Was Sammy almost a bad business guy in retrospect because because he's kind of 76 years old and maybe has to go on YouTube if that's the case financially?
Well, his exit strategy wasn't becoming an informant and going to jail.
Yeah.
He thought he'd probably be out there forever, Sammy. But I think that, look, a lot of building, Sammy had a piece of everything. And I really believe that Sammy is convinced that it's because of John Gotti that this all happened to his life. I think he really has convinced himself, right or wrong, I don't know enough about it, that it's because John that I had a rat and because I'm here today. And I think he has convinced himself so much of that that he believes it. Now, is it right or wrong? I don't know. I didn't see all the paperwork and I couldn't read it. I'm not an attorney. But
Yeah.
I think he really believes that it's John's fault that I'm in this position and they call me a rat. Whether it's true or not, I think Sammy has really built his own little world in there where I think Michael is more real when it comes to what everything's about. I don't think Michael's placing the blame. I've never heard Michael once say, well, it's because of my father being a big gangster that I got in. I never heard him say that once. He said he tried to save his father, like the Michael Corleone kind of thing, saving
Yeah.
the family. But I really believe that Sammy has built in excuses of why he's in the position he is today. Whether they're right or wrong, I think Michael uh, owns up to it a little more. I think Sammy places blame on John Gotti. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay. So when you're Sammy, right, and he kind of blames it on John, is that because he got caught in wiretaps? Maybe you were stating the obvious, but it's because he got caught on wiretaps.
Yeah, I think he feels that because, listen, I don't know if he ever told John during the days of the $3,000 suits, John, calm down. And maybe John said, shut up, I'm the boss. I'm doing what I want. But, it's Monday morning quarterback now. He was too out there. Well, you're saying that Frank DeChico, was it DeChico? Who was the guy with him that said, oh, we'll take over if things go bad?
The Chico.
Why couldn't they calm him down? You're saying that the Chico said if John gets out of line, we're to reel him in. So why didn't the Chico go to John? John, stop it. You're getting us all in trouble with these suits. So in one sense, Sammy says we were there to make sure he did the right thing, but meanwhile, you let him do everything and put everybody away because
What
he
if,
spoke. So
but so I'm just going by again, farthest from the street guy. Um, but it's kind of like if you get caught on tape within the life, that's kind of costing him business. Do you agree with that, or was John Senior reckless?
um, I don't think he'd ever. I think he was brazen,
Yeah.
and I think that when you see him on magazine covers saying "I am who I am," he probably felt he was never going to get caught.
I never understood with especially at the time, the power and resources that they had, that they know they were under constant surveillance. I would have had like rotating, um, kind of meetings, right? So like, sake of argument, you have 20 different flats, right? On the odd day of a week on Tuesday, we meet on the Upper East Side, one shot deal, then another one, like almost make it a clandestine, almost terrorist model. I hate to say terrorist, but
Yeah, I know what
but
you're saying.
versus kind of like the home base. Back then you wanted the home base, you want to kind of wanted people hanging out. What is it called? Showing your colors. I get
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
but
yeah.
that's the antithesis of of a good business model and a bad practices if you're a wise guy.
Well, showing the flag is one thing, showing respect, but You got to remember also, you're making guys. Everyone and their mother knew that all the guys were showing up at one time on a Tuesday night, right? Isn't that perfect when you knew that there were enemies out there, Chin one of them, that wanted you and had a problem with you, that all your top guys are in one spot? Don't you think that's a little reckless?
What was the
That everyone knows on Tuesday night you got 10 captains there, the boss, the underboss. That's a little brazen considering you know that guys didn't approve of you taking over. And now they got all of you in one restaurant where they don't even have to go find you on a Tuesday night. I think that's a little,
well, so watch. So every week they had a report,
yeah.
right? And I believe it was at the time 26 captains. Sell me on the rationale why he did that. Because again, I'm like, I know hindsight's 2020. Being the armchair
He wanted the
quarterback.
respect.
Yeah.
He wanted the respect. He wanted to know when he said come, you come. And I don't care what you have to do on that Tuesday night, you're here. That's what I believe it was.
In a weird sort of psychological way. Is that an overcompensation of some sort?